How would you like to update your training materials so that they're more effective, engaging, and can be delivered faster? Einstein once said, "Make things as simple as possible, but not simpler." While this may seem obvious, most training programs are convoluted, boring, and employees don't take away what they need from them. They just aren't as simple as they need to be. The truth is, most training takes 1 to 2 weeks, and new hires or existing employees cannot wait to get through them so they can start in their real job and actually learn. However, if we try to learn everything on the job, this could result in employee injury, death, and in industries like pharma, this may result in heavy costs of recall if a mistake is made somewhere on the supply line. For many companies, this is the reality they face. Their training is long, boring, and mandatory. It's a major cost to companies, but the employees don't even retain a lot of the information and just learn on the job anyways, so it's mandatory and a waste of time. Training that was once up to date falls out of date very quickly, and companies are stuck trying to hash together their new materials with old, dated materials, and it's convoluted and tacky. Only companies that are on top of the plummeting attention spans of our population are creating training materials that take into account our changing world and our changing ways of consuming information. Only those companies are using the power of technology that we have available to make training more convenient and effective. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Marr, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to share exactly how my company helps create training materials that increase employee retention, save time and money of clients, and are entertaining. I'm also going to share with you the biggest mistake training managers make when creating materials, the secret to making material that will be utilized long after the employee has gone through the training, and the simple, proven process we use to create training materials that entertain employees. These are the strategies we've implemented with Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, Janssen, PwC, Sun Life, and many more to create the most effective training materials possible. You see, over the past few years, I have been committed to helping training managers and C-level executives who are committed to 2 things: reducing turnover and building a great company culture, and creating training materials that lead to a more knowledgeable workforce. So, if you're working as a training manager or in learning and development, if you're looking to make your learning materials more engaging and effective, you're definitely in the right place, and you're going to love what I'm about to share with you. Now, the top 3 training materials we make fall into the following categories: taking existing training material, repackaging it to be more engaging, and repurposing it into different mediums; creating material for employees who are on the road, who need to educate potential customers or refresh their own knowledge base; or starting from scratch and creating a full e-learn that lives online and goes through various exercises and learning modules. One of our clients, Blockstation, wanted something to show investors and users of their service, both for onboarding new members, as well as bringing in something that would blow away investors. We created a stunning 2-minute video that detailed exactly what sets them apart from their competitors and showcased why they were a company to invest in. Another client, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, wanted us to bring attention to their business continuity plan. What should an employee do if the workplace was compromised? Well, we created training material that outlined exactly where an employee can get information on what they need to do in a way that was simple and entertaining. Another client, a big gas and oil company, needed materials to educate their sales reps who would be going store to store offering their service to customers. We helped create material that they could use from the road that would help them make connections and explain the features and benefits of their product. Now, the best thing about this service is that it helps employees retain information by up to 40%. It can be used in person or online and can be reviewed at regular intervals. It's easy to make adjustments and keep up to date. Now, in the training and development field, I'm sure you've noticed that training materials fall into one of 2 categories. Online materials are either a boring webinar or a PowerPoint, or training is a top priority with new approaches being implemented and tested all the time. What is it that makes some companies commit fully to their training and develop materials that are effective and enhance company culture, while others have outdated material from the 90s and deliver it in the same dry, dull way time after time? After working for years in the training industry and working with dozens of clients, I've realized that the companies that have dynamite materials put their focus on a few key things. And the truth is, these key things will work in any industry because they are optimized to work with how human beings are designed to learn. The best way I can explain this to you is by addressing the standard approach to conveying information. The average trainer would take a look at the material they have to teach, and they would just put the statistics, facts, figures together and create a report. The information is dry, it's dull, it's boring. But we aren't trying to win an Oscar, right? We're trying to train a workforce, so it was fine. This results in long PowerPoint or webinar presentations that have tons of facts and figures, a bunch of graphs, but no soul to it. On the other hand, I want you to imagine your favorite movie. What's the story? What's the drama? How did it make you feel? Now, every presentation falls somewhere between these two extremes: reports and stories. Reports inform, while stories entertain. What we need to keep in mind is that these two things do not have to be mutually exclusive. We can have a dramatic story that has a lot of lessons woven within it, and we can have a report that conveys information in an entertaining way and through stories. Most training material is focused too much on the side of reports, spitting facts and figures and trying to get through the information as fast as possible, and somehow every lesson still takes 40 to 60 minutes. Most training presents information in a complex form that takes a while to understand and is almost immediately forgotten, giving workers countless acronyms to memorize, facts and figures with no anchoring into what it means in reality. Now, remember how I told you that training materials fall into one of two categories? The companies that make world-class, effective training have two things in place that the other companies don't. Well, those two things are training that presents information not as boring reports, but as stories, and up-to-date material that can be digested quickly in an entertaining way and can be returned to again and again. Because it comes down to this: if you're just presenting information in a bland way, your employees aren't going to learn, and you're losing money and a productive workforce by presenting it to them in this way. Now let's get down to business and show you exactly how we help clients create next-level training materials that push their employees to the next level. It saves time, it saves money, and protects companies against mistakes that can cost millions of dollars in people's lives. There's only two things that matter when creating materials that are going to stick in the mind of the learner: using a perfect combination of information mixed in with storytelling, and presenting the stories in a way that's going to be easily digestible to your audience. If your training isn't having the effect you want in the company, let me ask you these two questions. Are you making your information entertaining, or are you just conveying facts and figures? And what kind of mediums are you using for delivering these materials? You see, in learning and development, we often stick with old methods of learning, even if they've been disproven long ago. The companies with the most effective training take the age-old, effective methods of conveying information through stories, and they combine it with new mediums to present information in the most convenient way possible. They pay attention to these two things: using an effective story to communicate important information, and using the most effective mediums available to convey that information. Hint, it's not a textbook and it's not reading. When you have these two things down, you're going to see your trainings more effective, your connections with new hires will be deeper, you'll be able to get through material faster and start working on a deeper understanding through questions and answers. While the old way looks at training as a boring thing that we need to get through because it's the law, we're going to create material that is fun, exciting, and fosters a culture of continuous learning. Continuously going back and learning and relearning lessons and figuring things out through digestible content. So what does this system look like? Well, it starts with figuring out the exact lesson we want to convey. Is it old materials that need to be adapted to this new world? Is it long, in-person lesson plans that need to be brought online in the wake of a new pandemic? What is the purpose behind the content we're creating, and how to craft a story around the lessons we are teaching so that it is going to grab the viewer's attention and simplify a complex idea? Once we have the message dialed in and the script written, we begin working on creating an animated video that will bring the story and the information to life. The result of executing this correctly is that you will have a timeless video that will present information in a unique way using a medium that has been proven time and time again to be more effective than anything else out there. And the best part, employees will be able to consume this information as much or as little as they want. They can go back to it and get a refresher 5 years from now. And on top of that, it can be online. So in the event of a global pandemic that instantly transforms the entire world into a remote workforce, your materials will be ready to go without losing a second of time. Cracking the code. To execute on this and create an amazing training program, you need to get these three things into alignment. These three things are message, medium, and delivery. When you have these three things in alignment, you can unlock the code and build some amazing training material that utilizes the top methods of gathering information in learning and development. We help numerous banks throughout Canada to set up videos highlighting how to use new applications to cut the learning curve in half. Another client of ours, Nelson Education, used our services to introduce chapter topics in their texts. That way, students got a summary of the main theme they'd encounter and had access to a video through the rest of the course where they could always brush up and refresh their knowledge on the topic in 2 to 4 minutes. Now again, you can do this the hard way, where you write your own scripts, you find vendors who can deliver it, scour through who's good, who's bad, who needs to be babysat, and eventually, you'll have some videos. But will that even be telling the right story? Or you can do it the easy way and crack the code immediately by working with a company that has spent all day, every day, for years, simply honing our storytelling ability, looking at our clients and their goals, and optimizing our videos so that they are as effective as possible. This is perfect for you if you're looking to update your training material to be more accessible in the online world. Create bite-sized micro-learning content that helps employees digest information easily. Use the best mediums to create effective material that is retained long-term. And move away from boring, bland, outdated, and static PowerPoints and webinars. Because right now, we're looking for a few more of our dream clients. Companies that are taking their training seriously and are looking to update their boring material, streamline it, and produce their content in bite-sized chunks that are going to help their employees learn and retain information. That's why, right now, I'd like to speak with you on a strategy session and learn more about what your plans are and see if you meet the criteria below. See, we work with primarily 3 types of clients. Companies that want to convert their training material into video to resonate more with the over 60% of the population that are visual learners. Companies that understand the dramatic drop in attention span and want to create material that captures and holds attention long enough to teach key lessons. Companies that are looking to take their training online so employees can learn from home, or they can get refreshers if they're out on the road. So here's how the process works. We would hop on a strategy call to break down exactly what points we need to hit that will help your target audience pay attention, and gather all the information we need about a specific topic. Then we'd go off on our own and do more research on the topic we need to cover and see if there are any additional points that we may need to address. Then we'll take a stab at the script and send it your way for clarifications. From there, we're going to head into storyboarding. Once again, when that's ready, you can look at it and see if there are any other changes. And finally, once that's agreed upon, we can head into animation and produce your videos. All these videos aren't just made to look pretty, they're also designed to achieve specific goals. So who's this for? Well, this is for training managers, development consultants, C-level executives, instructional designers, and founders. They typically work in a medium to large organization and are experiencing boring training as an issue within their work. This is for companies that want to take their materials to the next level and want to invest in their culture and their employees. And who is this not for? Companies that don't have training programs or are happy with the status quo. Companies that aren't worried about developing their workforce. And companies that are going to need to control every single aspect of our process. We solve a particular problem for a particular client. We want to provide a service that our clients need and work with them to develop their learning materials and their microlearnings. The first step is to complete an application for a private strategy session below. This application is necessary to determine 1, that we can help you based on what you're looking to do, and 2, so that we can get to know you before the call to save time for both of us. Now, once we receive your application, you'll be able to schedule a time with me to conduct your strategy session, and this is where we will really get to start working together to figure out what your training goals are and how we can make it happen. And then, at the end of the call, one of 2 things will happen. We will either be a fit and I will extend an information to work with me and my team as one of our clients, or if it's not a good fit, that's totally okay too, and there's no hard feelings or obligations or anything. Either way, you'll receive an insanely valuable strategy session where you'll be able to take away some of my knowledge about storytelling, video marketing, and training. It'll be very valuable to get some insights on what we do and what we've done for clients similar to you. So go ahead and complete your application now, and we will see if we're a good fit for doing business together. Now, like I said, we are currently looking for dream clients, and we're looking to work consistently on projects that are going to be an absolute win-win. We can't take on unlimited people, unfortunately, as that would decrease the quality of our work. We can only take on a couple of clients at a time. So with that being said, please understand that this window of opportunity won't be available for long. So the sooner we get scheduled to chat, the sooner we'll see if we're a good fit. We can get started taking your training materials to the next level. So if you feel like this is right for you, go ahead and apply right now to see if this makes sense, and then follow the instructions on the next page.